Good morning, everybody. I don't know how many of you read Dr. Seuss when you were growing up, or actually read Dr. Seuss when you got old enough to read, or even read it now as an adult. But I love Dr. Seuss. I think he's one of the more underrated American philosophers, certainly in my lifetime. And one of my favorite stories about Dr. Seuss is the story of the Sneeches. And there are basically two kinds of Sneeches in the world. There are Sneeches with stars upon theirs, and there are Sneeches with a plain belly. And the reference here is that it boils down to status. And I don't know how many of you work to acquire status. Maybe you work to acquire status on an airline or a hotel or a car rental, or you get bonus points at Starbucks or what. I mean, every company has some sort of program that if you participated in it long enough, you will become a starred bellied Sneech, a preferred customer. And that's great when you're the preferred customer. But there's a whole nother set of people out there that are not preferred customers, that don't have status, and they're the plain bellied Sneeches. I was in Pensacola, Florida not that long ago, and I needed to fly from Pensacola up to Michigan. And I needed to get there in a night, which doesn't sound like it's that big a deal, except that there was a huge snowstorm in Chicago. I know that's a big surprise. Chicago hardly ever gets any snow and the airport hardly ever closes, but tonight, this night, it was. And to make matters worse, in my head, I was dreading it even more because I was flying on an airline for which I had no status. I was a plain bellied Sneech. And if you've ever been in a position of going in and trying to get an upgrade of a room or a better car or a seat on an airplane, you know that if you don't have status, you tend to be looked at differently than if you are a regular customer. So it was with that idea that I walked up to the counter and I explained my situation to the guy behind the counter. And much to my relief, much to my satisfaction, he actually spent a long time. And my goal was to get to Michigan by 9 o'clock in the morning. The company that I was talking to had closed their company down for the day. All of the employees were going to be showing up to hear me speak to them about the sales and customer service program that we were going to be implementing. So I had to get up there. I had to be there. Long story short, a little bit of flying, a lot of bit of driving. This guy got me to Michigan by 9 o'clock in the morning. I actually got there by 7, had enough time to have a cup of coffee and take a shower and change into my clothes. But the point is, he treated me as though I was a customer that he wanted to have for life. And interestingly now, I have since changed airlines. It was not, I mean, it didn't happen overnight, but it became necessary for me to change airlines. And when I looked around as to what airline I wanted to move to, this guy's airline popped right to the top of the list. And mostly because of the customer service that I received when I wasn't technically a customer. We all have an opportunity to give people who come into our business an opportunity. We give them the opportunity to have an experience that will be wonderful. We have the ability to make any experience wonderful for our customers. The question is, do we only do it for the starred bellied people, or do we do it for everybody? If you can look at yourself and say, you know what, I give every single person who walks into my business the same high level of service, that is perfect. Because here's the question that I will leave you with. If the only time that you're willing to treat a customer like a customer is when they have developed the status with you, what makes you believe that they will go through the pain of status acquisition and not just instead go somewhere else and use somebody else who makes the whole process not so painful? Something to think about. Look at everybody with the star on their belly. Dr. Seuss would be proud of you. Have a great day, everyone.